Hey everybody, we're going to look at one question today, and the question is, what's the best diet? And this is really a loaded question because there is no one best diet for everyone. If there were, there wouldn't be entire sections in our bookstores devoted to different diets. Everybody's always looking for that magic pill, that magic diet, whatever it is, and unfortunately, there really isn't one. Nothing exists. What it really boils down to is really kind of two things. One, and we're seeing this carried out in a lot of research, is if you want to lose weight, the biggest factor is the amount of calories that you take in a day, the amount of calories you burn. Calories in, calories out. That is that concept there, and that's an oversimplification, but that basic concept is what we need to start with if our concern is primarily how much do you weigh. Now, beyond that, it becomes a matter of kind of your macronutrients, how much protein you're taking in, fat, carbs, and that combination is going to determine the quality of the muscle, along with your exercise and a host of other things. So really, what we're going to focus on here today is what diet works for you. And I'm going to show you through some research that we've looked at a lot of different studies, and there have been studies broken up into more low carb and more low fat. And what we're going to look at here are two different meta-analysis. A meta-analysis is basically a combination of similar studies put together in a study of those studies in themselves to see what sort of trending we find. You know, if you look at one study that is a bit of an outlier, that might imply one thing, but the whole rest of the research body says something else, well then, you know, we can't put as much credence in that one study. So what we're looking at here, here's two different pages. These are two different meta-analyses. And what we see on this is the listing is all the different research studies. The big thing is if we go over on the right-hand side, we're going to see where the trending was, whether it favored very low carb diets or very low fat diets. One study, we're going to find that marginally favored low carbs. The other meta-analysis marginally favored low fat. Both of these were over a 12-month period, and what we're realistically talking about is a variation of about 1.6 to 1.8 pounds over 12 months. What's the practical application of that? Well, if you're following a low carb diet and hating every minute of it, is it really worth about a quarter of a pound to really struggle and fight all the way through it? Or maybe should you switch over to a low fat diet that is more comfortable, that's easier for you to maintain long term, knowing it's going to be easier to maintain, you're going to be more consistent with it, and realistically, you're going to be within about a quarter pound of what you would have done had you had to really struggle with it the other way around. So what that tells me is I'm going to pick the one that I can stick to, that's not going to be a punishment, and it's going to get me to the same result within about a quarter pound. And frankly, I can gain or lose a quarter pound in a couple of hours, depending on what I've eaten. So that's the actual relevance, even though the studies say it's a statistic difference, the real human relevance is they're all about the same. What does that mean for you? Well, there's still no best one diet, but there's going to be a diet that is easier for you to follow, that's easier for you to be consistent with and stick to in the long run. We're talking more than just a period of, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 21 days or whatever. Let's talk about the next year. Let's talk about the next 6 months. Let's talk about the next 18 months. What modifications can you make to your diet to make a healthy and sustainable lifestyle while losing the weight that you want to lose and maintaining a good muscle mass? Okay. Which one is going to be best for you? That's your choice. Is it a lower carb? Is it low fat? Either way, we're going to cut back calories a little bit here and there. Hope that makes sense. Hope that gives you some options and some choices to make. You can do this and you can make good choices and you can succeed.